Thanks, Premier. Thanks, Prime Minister. Can I again just commend the incredible cooperation that we've experienced from the New South Wales Government throughout this crisis, and I think that has been a godsend for people in the flood-affected areas. What it resulted in was very quick and early response by getting resources on the ground even before the floods had peaked, and it's now continuing with the very quick approval of payments for people who desperately need it. This request was made of us on Friday afternoon by the New South Wales Government. We worked on it and considered it over the weekend. Our Cabinet ticked it off yesterday, and now we're announcing it today. And I think that shows you the quick response and the positive response that can come for people who really need help when governments cooperate. So again, can I thank our New South Wales counterparts for the work that they've done. It's probably just also worth mentioning the Prime Minister's given you the figures for the amount of money that has been paid out under those federal disaster payments. We're also pleased to announce today that we have extended that support to a further 8 local government areas, in addition to the 29 that had been previously announced. So there's now a total of 37. The extra 8 LGAs are Cumberland, Mid-Coast, Muswellbrook, Nambucca, Newcastle, Port Stephens, Randwick and Warren. So that's a total of 37 LGAs around New South Wales that will be eligible for those payments, and they will also be eligible for the payments that have been announced by the Prime Minister and the Premier today. The final thing I would say is that, again, we recognise that this is going to be a really long road for many people because in some cases it's even people have experienced up to 4 floods in the last 18 months. And it's not just in that Hawkesbury Nepean area, but it's also places like the Hunter Valley and the Central Coast that have experienced multiple floods and are going to need support. I'll be travelling myself again this afternoon to the Hawkesbury to meet with turf farmers because obviously it's people living in suburban areas that have suffered from this, but primary producers have copped a flogging again from the weather, and that is having an impact on grocery prices. So we all suffer when we see these floods, and that's why people need to know and need to be assured that their federal and state governments are standing shoulder to shoulder with them throughout this recovery effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Prime Minister, and thank you, Premier. The dedication and resilience of our emergency services workers, our volunteers and our locals in protecting their communities in these extreme weather events has been nothing short of extraordinary. I want to thank them for their amazing efforts, but I also want to let them know that the New South Wales Government will continue to stand by them in good times and in bad. And we do so by standing shoulder to shoulder with the Commonwealth Government. We've learnt during natural disasters, including bushfires, droughts, floods and also COVID, that we're better when we work together. And I want to commend Prime Minister Albanese in working so constructively with us to make sure that we're there looking after our people when they need it most and helping them get back on their feet. Today we're announcing significant financial assistance for those impacted by these recent floods, and it's a joint initiative with the Commonwealth Government. This includes grants to councils that will help with things like urgent repairs to infrastructure and helping them employ additional people to help with the flood recovery. In addition to that, we've also committed funding for the clean-up, primary producer and small business grants, and also boots on the grounds to assess and assist with the recovery process. We're at the start of the recovery, and our 2 governments will make the necessary financial commitments to get these communities back on their feet as soon as possible.